Hello, my name is Sherry Reynolds, and as you know, I did choose the Eli Lilly Foundation as the topic of my presentation. After really looking into everything that the Eli Lilly Foundation does, I decided to concentrate mostly on their diabetic research. The reason I have chosen that is because diabetic research is very near and dear to the hearts of my family, as we do have a 15-year-old daughter who is a type 1 diabetic. She was diagnosed with diabetes about 5 years ago, so this has been a little bit of a struggle for our family for the last few years. When we first found out that she was a diabetic, there was a lot of tears, a lot of research, a lot of training that our family had to go through together to ensure that she would get the proper nutrition, the proper medications. And I know that Eli Lilly was a huge factor in making sure that the information that we received was what we needed to know, how we needed to learn it, and it was so readily available. It really helped our family a lot, as it still helps us as things change and things progress. We are constantly learning how to manage this disease with our daughter. Eli Lilly Foundation was founded by Colonel Eli Lilly in 1876. It did take them from 1876 until 1923 before they were able to manufacture the first viable monetary insulin that was readily available for type 1 diabetics. This was a huge stride in the diabetic research. There are currently over 13,000 children who are diagnosed with type 1 diabetes every single year. This is not a disease that is preventable. This is not a disease that is curable. This is a disease that happens. It attacks your pancreas, and it makes it so that your body can no longer produce insulin on its own. Without this insulin, your body cannot break down the foods properly, that especially your carbohydrates, anything with sugar, your body just cannot break those foods down. So what our type 1 diabetics have to do is inject insulin with every single meal to ensure that this medication is taking place of what the body can no longer provide. This is something that was a huge question when my daughter was first diagnosed. It was a struggle for us to grasp that it was not something that we did. This was not our fault. With any child, you always feel like you are supposed to protect them and take care of them. And with type 1 diabetes, this was not something that we could have prevented. And that was a huge step for us to take when we were finally able to accept that and move past that, so that we really could hone in on what we needed to do to take care of her type 1 diabetes. The focus of Eli Lilly Diabetes is they want to find a cure. They want to make sure that people know what they need to do if they're diagnosed, if their family members are diagnosed, if they're just working with people in the general public. If you are dealing with different types of people every single day, you're going to run into people who have diabetes, and they're going to need potential help with injections, with insulin, carb counting, ratios. I mean, there's so much information that goes into being a type 1 diabetic. They also want to improve global health. They really are looking into the third world countries, trying to ensure that they can educate them as well and help them improve their quality of life and get past the diagnosis of type 1 diabetes. They, at Eli Lilly, they really want to help anyone who is struggling. And I think that what they are doing is just absolutely amazing. A lot of their emphasis is on low and middle income countries. They're really trying to reach out to these countries to ensure that they can have the education that is needed to manage this disease. They want to make sure that medications are readily available for them. They want to make this so it's not a death sentence. They want people to know, regardless of where they are in the economic status, that there is help for them. There is somebody out there who cares and who is trying to reach out to them to ensure that they are taken care of as well. They offer several different areas of support. Eli Lilly offers resources for kids to go to college. They want to ensure that these kids are furthering their education, and they're doing so without the fears that they won't be able to get through going to school and possibly working and not knowing if they have insurance that can cover medications and test strips and all of these things that really go into being a diabetic. They have resources set up for these children, so that stress can be taken off of them so that they can go to school and live as normal of a life as they possibly can. Eli Lilly also wants to really reach out to other companies and other countries with what they have researched and the discoveries that they're making and the strides that they're making to help with type 1 diabetes. Another area where Eli Lilly has definitely helped us out is with their youth summer camp program. Now, the youth summer camp program offers different lengths of camp for children aged anywhere from 4 to 18. They offer several hundred different programs depending on type 1, type 2 diabetes, age range, what your capabilities as a type 1 diabetic are. They offer so many different varieties of programs that they are able to help about 20,000 different children every single year. These kids can go to these camps and they're able to learn how to manage their diabetes, and they are surrounded by a group of people that are all diabetic and they're all going through the exact same struggles. So it gives them that chance to interact with kids their age as well as kids of other ages, just to see how they're managing with this disease. At the end of each summer camp, they also make sure that there is a educational kit that is provided for the family as well, and the parents can come in and the counselors will go through all of the information for each camper for that week and talk about their lows, their highs, their strengths, their weaknesses, and it really lets the parents kind of get an insight into different ways that they can better help their child in whatever ways their child needs help in managing their diabetes. Now, Eli Lilly does work with several different organizations. They do work with the International Diabetes Foundation, Life for a Child, in order to make sure that kids have access to medications. These organizations help people who are unable to afford supplies and medicine, and it just gives them a chance to get these things to help them take care of themselves. They also work with an organization called European Association for the Studies of Diabetes, and they work with them in order to produce new therapies for diabetes and offer better support to those who really need them. Before insulin was available, diabetes was a death sentence. People didn't know how to manage it. They didn't know how to control it. It was life altering. Even though 5 years ago we felt like this was a life altering sentence for my daughter, with the use of insulin, we don't know where we would be without it. I'm pretty sure that I wouldn't have my daughter here today without insulin that has been provided by companies such as Eli Lilly. And I apologize. With the use of insulin, my daughter has an almost normal life. She's able to do all of the things that a normal teenage girl can do. And she's very stubborn, so she has not allowed this to hold her back in any way. And she's really kind of been my hero. And she has shown me what strength really is. And I am so very proud of her. And again, there is absolutely no way that we would be where we are today without the help, the research, and the strides that the Eli Lilly Foundation has made towards diabetic research. All of this was possible because Colonel Eli Lilly had a dream. He wanted to help people. He wanted to ensure that this was manageable. He wanted to make this disease manageable for people. And again, without him and without all of the work at Eli Lilly, there would be so many people that would not know what they were going to do today, tomorrow. They wouldn't even think of having a future. So with the help of Eli Lilly, these kids can have a normal life and they can have dreams and they can grow up and do all of the things that they want to do, and they don't have to worry quite so much about this diagnosis of type 1 diabetes. Thank you very much.